Our lesson for today is about raising thought-provoking questions in public forums and panel discussions. In a society where one dreams of democracy, the main issue is that the majority rules but minority rights are protected. Every person has the right to speak and be heard. Every person has equal rights and responsibilities in exercising one's belief and asserting oneself. All people then are entitled to discuss in the marketplace ideas. To achieve your goals, you must know how to express your ideas as well as listen carefully so you can think what is right from wrong. But first, let me give you the most essential learning competency that we are about to target, and it is to raise sensible, challenging, thought-provoking questions in public forums or panel discussions. At the end of this video, you are expected to construct sensible, challenging, thought-provoking questions for public forums or panel discussion. Muster courage to raise sensible, challenging, thought-provoking question in public forums or panel discussion. And to express ideas and opinions based on the text listened to. What have you observed in this illustration? That is right. It seems that they are discussing a certain topic or issue. Have you experienced to participate in this kind of discussion? While listening, was there any question in your mind that you want to ask? Or have you experienced to discuss a topic or issue with someone before? This illustration shows a panel discussion wherein a group of people discuss a subject in front of an audience. This type of discussion normally includes a moderator who is in charge of guiding the panelists or group of experts in answering important questions and share insights about certain issues. Panel discussion happens in television shows or academic conferences where the audience is supposed to listen to every speaker and only ask questions when the moderator directs them to do so. Listening attentively to a group discussion is very important. You need to include yourself on the topic that they are discussing. You may ask sensible questions to make a discussion more meaningful. Asking sensible questions in any group discussions is encouraged so that there will be a lively discussion. On the other hand, public forum, also called open forum, is a situation in which people may discuss about an issue or a topic of public interest. It is where the people are free to express their thoughts or ideas. This means that the audience in this gathering will take part in a conversation about a specific subject or issue. Now that you know about the difference between panel discussion and public forum, it is also important that you are aware of the heart of a quality discussion, and that is questions. How do you ask questions in a forum or panel discussion? Are you able to send out your voice in a thought-provoking manner that leads to discussion? Stimulating thought-provoking questions in a panel discussion is a gateway to come up with meaningful or insightful answers. Keeping things flowing with the quality questions get panelists engaged, which in turn gives the panel members a reason to retain what they are learning. A thought-provoking question is a type of question that causes you to think seriously about something. It contains interesting ideas that can make you think a lot. There are different kinds of thought-provoking questions. There are times and places that requires thought-provoking questions for deeper and more meaningful communication. Thought-provoking question can be about problem-solving process, compare and contrast, interpretative or evaluative, conceptual changes, personal exploration, and moral or ethical dilemmas. Let us begin with the first kind of thought-provoking question, and that is problem-solving process. This is a question that makes the other person assess, diagnose, and think of a possible action. For example, what is the issue or problem at hand? This is a sample of thought-provoking questions that assess. What is the root cause of this issue or problem? This shows a question that diagnosed and how can we solve the issue? This question indicates to think of a possible action. The next one is compare and contrast. It is a question about similarities and differences between ideas. For example, what are the differences between traditional media and social media? As you can see, the question is about asking the difference between two different ideas, which are traditional media and social media. Interpretative or evaluative. This question is about the intention or goals of the author, creator, character, etc. For example, what is the purpose of the author in writing the story? Next, conceptual changes. These are the questions based on self-reflection. It encourages you to express opinion about the subject of the question. For example, which do you think is better? Personal exploration. This is a question based on one's personal idea or exploration. It encourages personal connection with the subject of the question. Example, how important is a flower to you? And lastly, moral or ethical dilemmas. These are questions that make the other person think whether something is morally or ethically correct. For example, is it okay to let another person answer your module for you? Why or why not? Note that raising sensible and thought-provoking questions is very important. It will allow the person to tell honestly his inner thought. In this way, that person is expressing his or her real emotions. This time, let us explore further by learning the 5 strategies on how to raise thought-provoking questions. And these are: first, do your research. It means that you should do a research on the topic, the panelists, and the audience. In this way, you will be able to get in touch with the topic, to get connected to the panelists' work or interests, and the issues which the audience will be interested in. Second, make a list. You should make a list of potential questions from your research. For example, why is the topic important nowadays? What are the important points that need to be discovered on this topic? Or what is the most essential common question on everyone's mind? Third, choose the most essential questions. You should delete questions that are not necessary and choose questions which you think are important to the topic. Fourth, sequence your questions. Your questions should be sequenced so that the panel members and audience will really understand every bit of information. So we have strategic. You should start with questions that are designed to discuss what is happening in the world. For example, Why does family conflicts exist? The other one is benefits. So you should move to the benefits or consequences on why the audience should care. For example, why are children equally affected when family conflict occurs? Then it followed by specifics. Ask more specific questions where the panelists will be more inclined to show concrete examples. For example, what are the evidences which prove that family conflict may damage a relationship? And application. So you should ask questions with a substantial value and has the ability to apply the information. For example, why do we need to resolve the conflict in our family? The last step is to rephrase and finalize your question. So you should start short questions in order for the audience and panel members to have focus in understanding the concept. Thus, rephrasing your questions is necessary. After rephrasing, you are now ready to finalize your questions. Now, let us check your understanding by doing the following tasks. For learning task number 1, identify the kind of thought-provoking question presented in each number. Choose your answer from the box below and write it on your paper. Learning task number 2. Match column A with column B to create a thought-provoking question. Write your answers on your paper. Learning task number 3. Complete each question by choosing the appropriate phrases or clauses. Write your answer on your paper. Traditionally, a public forum is a place where people can express their ideas and opinion for everyone to hear without fear of being punished by the government or those who do not agree with them. A place where they can freely use their voice to share knowledge or express what is on their mind. When opportunity comes for you to use your voice in a public forum, always keep in mind to do it responsibly. Now, for your final task, you're going to listen to a panel discussion and imagine that you are part of the audience. And then you're going to prepare 6 questions for the panelists by using the question frames that follow. Number 1, what is the purpose of? Number 2, what would you do if? Number 3, what is the difference between? Number 4, is it correct to? Number 5, what can you do to? And number 6, don't you think it is better if? Good day, everyone. The topic of our discussion is the rights of the Filipinos on the West Philippine Sea. Here with us today are Rhea Rachel Owabel, Angelique Talisik, and Marian Gaurano. Please introduce yourself and give us an introduction about our topic for today.
Hello, I'm Rhea Rachel Owabel. I'm a social studies teacher teaching world history. West Philippine Sea is the sea on the western side of the Philippines, 212 nautical mile from our territorial baseline. That includes the territorial sea and our exclusive economic zone. Its boundary is the South China Sea, which means that West Philippine Sea and South China Sea are not one and the same. They are two different bodies of water. Hello, I'm Angelique Talisik. I'm a social studies teacher teaching contemporary issues. According to the United Nations Conventions on Law of the Sea, which is an international law which applies to the bodies of water all around the world, the Philippines has the right to explore, use, and manage the natural resources, whether living or non-living, within our exclusive economic zone in the Philippine or in the West Philippine Sea. We have the exclusive right to construct, to authorize construction, and to control construction of structure within our exclusive economic zone.
Hello, I'm Marian Gaurano. I'm a grade 7 science teacher. 12% of the world's annual fish catch is from the West Philippine Sea and South China Sea. This is also the source of livelihood of thousands of Filipino fishermen. The West Philippine Sea is also rich in natural gas, which can be used as fuel. The West Philippine Sea is very important to all the Filipinos. It is the source of life for millions of Filipinos and the answer to our long-time problem, which is the source of energy for electricity.
China said that it has historical claim over South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea, and the whole world appears to be believing in their historical narratives that they own South China Sea since 2,000 years ago. What is real and what is not from this historical narrative?
China is a very old civilization. That is why it is very easy for them to make their own people believe, as well as the world, that it is probably true. So, Philippine representatives during the South China Sea arbitration make it point to clarify that issue once and for all, and they did. We won on that issue. Borrowing the term used by retired Justice Antonio Carpio to say that China has historical claim over the South China Sea is the fake news of the century. They do not have any map or historical evidence that can prove their claim.
We won on that arbitration, but still, many of the features in the West Philippine Sea is occupied by China. One of the notable incidents is what they did to Panganiban Reef, also called Mischief Reef. What is the significance of that incident?
That is only one of the many islands that China occupied. First and foremost, the Philippines remains to be the one who has the sovereign rights over Mischief Reef, and we must never give up on that. Right now, it has become an artificial island, but originally it is a low-tide feature. It doesn't have a territorial sea. It doesn't have an exclusive economic zone, and it is part of our continental shelves. The right to build structures over that rock belongs to the Philippines.
Whenever China built infrastructure on those rocks, they caused permanent and irreparable harm to the coral reef ecosystem. It is home of 34% of the world's coral reef. The South China Sea is a birthplace and a cradle of marine life.
For your assessment, please answer the following questions on your paper. Number 1. Complete the sentence to form an interpretative-evaluative question. What is the intention of blank? A has 7 colors. B, the sun for shining. C, the author for writing the legends of the rainbow. Number 2. Which of the following questions is about personal exploration? A. What does Land of Bondage and Land of the Free want to achieve? B. How would you react if someone indirectly attacked you on Facebook? C. What can be done to minimize fake news on Facebook? Number 3. Complete the sentence to form a compare and contrast question. Which do you think is better? A. Since I don't like fighting. B. I will delete my account and make another. C. To block the account or report the malicious post directed towards you. Number 4. Complete the following sentence to form a question about moral or ethical dilemma. Is it okay to blank? A. Wear a pink dress. B. Eat ice cream in the morning. C. Create multiple accounts on Facebook. Number 5. Which of the following question is about conceptual change? A. If you were an encomendero during the Spanish time, would you be able to give up half of your land for your poor tenants? B. What have changed in the life of the poor land tillers from the Spanish time until now? C. Wouldn't it be better to create alternative work opportunity for farmers and give proper education for their children instead of dividing the land? And that ends our discussion for today. Remember, it takes a lot of practice to be able to discuss certain issues in a public forum or panel discussions. Thus, to have a quality discussion, the most important thing to prepare are the right question or thought-provoking questions. Congratulations! You had already finished the lesson about raising thought-provoking questions in public forums or panel discussion. See you on our next session. Bye!